Welcome back to the channel. I'm Colin and this is a review of a very interesting set of budget headphones, the Kiwi Ears Altruva. The Altruva is an open-back dynamic driver headphone that retails for $69.99. It features a 50mm dynamic driver and is marketed to deliver a studio-accurate sound and breathtaking soundstage on Kiwi Ears' website. Let's unbox the Altruva and hear how well it does the above. The Altruva comes in a nicely illustrated box. Inside, the packaging is pretty minimalistic. You see the headphones themselves wrapped in a plastic bag. Underneath that, you'll see a set of velour pads, 3-meter headphone cable, and a 1/4-inch adapter. The headphones themselves come with pleather pads pre-installed. So this is what's included with the headphones. Now let's take a look at the build of the Altruva. I have mine here in wood brown color, but there's also a more minimalistic gray color. The cups themselves are made from plastic, but the grills are metal. It has a really solid steel headband with a self-adjusting pleather pad, secured by elastic bands. It's really like the old AKG designs, but the headband itself feels a lot more solid. The pads themselves feel and look very nice. They feel premium and honestly doesn't feel like ear pads that come with budget headphones. The headphone features a dual entry cable connection, and the 3-meter cable it comes with is actually wrapped in a cable jacket, which makes this cable nicer than cables that come with headphones much more expensive than these. Overall, the build quality feels very nice for the price. It's sturdy and well built. Comfort-wise, the headphones are a little heavy at around 330 grams. But the padding distributes the weight very well on top of my head. I don't really feel the weight when wearing them. Ear cups are large and deep, so the driver doesn't touch my ears. Ear pads are nice and soft. All in all, these are very comfortable headphones for me to wear. The sound of the Altruva is the part that threw me off a bit. I was expecting a relatively neutral studio monitor sound from them, but these definitely aren't that. The Altruva has a V-shaped sound to them, meaning they have boosted bass and treble. They are very bassy, especially considering they are an open back set. The bass sounds controlled despite being heavily boosted. There's a decent resolution and texture in the mid-bass and in the kick drums. Sub-bass does also have a good rumble, although it's not boosted as much as the mid-bass. The mids of the Altruva are quite heavily recessed. Vocals sound more distant than what I usually hear from more neutral headphones. Tonality-wise, I do think both male and female vocals sound quite neutral though, just a little bit recessed. The treble of the Altruva is boosted, but it doesn't seem bright or piercing. Snares and the higher notes of the electric guitars have decent airiness to them, and the treble sounds quite tonally neutral and pleasant to my ears. The soundstage of the Altruva does not sound particularly wide for an open back set. I think it's just a little wider than similarly priced closed headphones. Instruments are all relatively close to you as it sounds. Imaging is also just okay. That said, I don't think they will do particularly well in competitive gaming. But I do think swapping the velour pads will improve the soundstage and imaging by a bit. So I did most of my listening impressions on the pleather pads, as that was what came pre-installed. But I did compare the velour pads. In fact, I would recommend the velour pads more than the pleather ones. It does improve the overall clarity by tightening up the bass a bit, and it makes the mid-range sound more upfront and less recessed. With the velour pads, the Altruva strikes an overall more correct and neutral tonal balance, but it does reduce the quantity of bass. Despite using the velour pads, the Altruva still has a fun and punchy V-shaped sound, just to a lesser extent. Personally, I would prefer the velour pads, but do try them out if you buy these. By the way, the Altruva comes with removable ear pad mounting rings which makes pad rolling much easier and quicker. I think this is awesome. The only pair of headphones that I have right now that are under $100 is the Hi-Fi Man R9. It's also a V-shaped set, but it has a closed back design. Comparing the two, the R9 has better bass impact due to its closed back design, but overall, the Altruva strikes a better balance and is more revealing. The difference is especially noticeable in the mid-range and the treble. The mid-range on the Altruva is less recessed than the R9, and the treble is brighter. Vocals and instruments also sound more airy and organic on the Altruva. Now let's compare the T60RP. The T60RP is not quite a studio headphone, but has the heritage from the classic studio monitor T50RP. When comparing the two, it's immediately apparent that the responsiveness and the transients are much quicker on the T60 due to its planar drivers. I can hear in between the notes better, and there's better separation. The treble and the overall tonality of the T60 is much brighter. It can definitely be piercing to some people, though it also has more clarity. Soundstage-wise, both of these aren't super wide, but I think T60 has better imaging. But the Altruvas are much more punchy than the T60. Bass slams harder and has more impact, though it's slower than the planar bass of the T60. Let's talk about who I think will be suitable for these headphones. First, it's not for those looking for a neutral set of headphones or a studio monitor sound. I think the Altruva will be great for those looking for an open-back headphone for more pop, rap, and EDM style music. Personally, I really enjoy these for rap and hip-hop music. It's not common for an open-back headphone to have this kind of bass boost and punch due to the open-back nature. So I do think these do fill a gap in the headphone market. So if you're looking for a bassy open-back headphone, these will be perfect. In summary, I think the Altruva is a special set of headphones. It took an unconventional approach in tuning an open-back headphone. Instead of a neutral, organic, and open sound like most open-backs target for, it went for an exciting and punchy tuning. I think it's a unique option in the market, and it definitely has its target buyers. But unfortunately, it's kind of wrongly marketed as a studio headphone, which it definitely isn't. So if you're looking to purchase the Altruva, I would recommend them. You just need to know what you're really getting. I think the headphones themselves are awesome value for $69. So this is the end of my review. Please let me know if you have any questions about the Altruva. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you for watching.